Welcome aboard, Patriots Nation. This is the MayeFlower Voyage, presented by Patriots Clubhouse, your playoff chart through January football. Sunday night, under the lights at Gillette Stadium, the New England Patriots are home for the AFC wildcard round, hosting the Los Angeles Chargers, and there are no margins for error. 14 wins earned this opportunity. A full season built this moment, but none of that matters once the ball is kicked. Win, and the voyage continues. Lose, and the season is over. I'm Austin, joined by Andy and Thomas tonight. We're breaking down this matchup the right way. Health, matchups, X factors, and what actually decides playoff football. Quick thing before we get rolling, though, if you're here watching the MayeFlower Voyage, you're already part of the crew. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and turn notifications on so you don't miss any of our live shows, especially during the playoffs. And if you want to keep this conversation going after the show, during the week, during games, during breaking news, the Patriots Clubhouse Discord is where that happens. Link is in the description, and QR code in the top right can be scanned. All right, let's get back into it. So I know it's easy to talk about, playoffs right now, but I just want to take a moment and, appreciate the regular season that we just went through. Obviously, having back-to-back 4-13 seasons, we now have a 14-3 season. It's pretty special. What are your thoughts on that, Andy?
Yeah, I'm 14-3. I remember when we were doing our breakdowns here back in, I think that might have been in the spring. I think, what was it, 11-6 was like the best we have these Patriots going. I mean, you pretty much said, okay, at Miami is going to be a loss, maybe split with Buffalo, lose to Baltimore, lose to Cincinnati. You could pretty much chuck up 4 losses into that mix. And here we are at 14-3. We're not going to talk about the easy schedule because good teams struggle against bad teams. And yes, did the Patriots let up a boatload of opening drive touchdowns? Yes. But in the second half, against the Titans, against the Jets, not so much in that Giants game. We kind of shut down in the second half and against Atlanta. But, we blew the Dolphins out at home last week. I didn't, even with Quinn Ewers and the way that first half went, I didn't quite see it going that way. But yet here we are. 2 straight 4-13 seasons, 3 straight losing seasons, 1 playoff appearance in the last 5 years, hosting our first playoff game since 2020. We have a 1,000-yard receiver in Stephon Diggs. Drake May threw for almost 4,400 yards, either second or third most in the league. I think it's third. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I'm excited to see how this team looks tomorrow night against the Chargers. I think when you size these two teams up, and we'll talk about it later in the show, but it's a good defensive matchup. It's a good offensive matchup when you've got Ramondre Stevenson and Trevion Henderson catching fire. On the other side, it sounds like Amari and Hampton's going to be playing. They have a stud tight end in Oronde Gadsden. They obviously have Ladd McConkey, who went off on us last year. And we get Milton Williams and Robert Spillane back. So I think it's by no means a lopsided matchup. I think it should be an exciting game. So
For sure.
Here we are at 14 wins. Like we said in our little preamble, Austin, I didn't see it. The best I heard, I think, was Kyle's 13. Yep, here we are.
Yeah, and how about you, Thomas? What are your thoughts on, just our overall expectations on the season, where it actually went, and, how players performed and came into their own? Thomas?
Can you repeat that question? You're cutting in and out bad.
It's probably the Wi-Fi on your end, but I was just saying, like,
Hmm.
what is your, thoughts on the regular season, the expectations everyone had, how everyone was able to perform, all that.
Yeah, I'm this complete opposite of what you guys here. I thought the Patriots get like 7, 8 wins at best because I'm I'm not gonna be this over 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 confident about myself here to see this Patriots play good here. I say 7, 8 wins at best, and the games we could have lost. Bills won. We did lose the Bills once. We should have lost to Baltimore. We should have, in my opinion, we should have lost to the we lose to the Steelers, which I had in my predictions at this point. We I have them losing to the Falcons because I know for a fact the Falcons are a good ass team back then. But but I guess this team just really swerved the crap out of me. They won 14 out of the 14 games out of the 17 this season, which compared to what happened the previous 2 seasons, definitely better as we speak here. But remember though, I do not want to bring this back up. We do have a cupcake schedule because we play garbage teams in our schedule. 2026 is going to be completely different when we have like a challenge in our hands that season. But when this season, when we talk about 2025, I think the way the way I see things here, the offense did pick up because the O line, when healthy and when they need to fully constructed, play better than what I expected compared to the last 2 seasons, which we fucking suck. Defensively, we play way better than the last 2 seasons. We have those 4-13 records, 2 straight ties, which is ridiculous. And we don't have, I don't want to bring this up again, my brother's fucking simp, DeMarcus Covington, who literally is the worst defensive coordinator in the league, in my opinion. And then special teams play significant better as what people thought. And Mike Vrabel, who is probably, in my opinion, coach of the year, to put things here, did a good job. Bring this team and bring some championship culture into the team. I mean, not championship culture, but team culture in this team for 2025.
Yeah, definitely. I think me looking back, I think I had us at like 10 wins, and I said, maybe we get the 7th seed in the wild card. I was looking at our schedule, and obviously, I think everyone had us beating the Raiders. I don't think anybody would have saw us losing to the Raiders. And then obviously losing to the Dolphins there, losing to the Steelers, like games that should have turned out the way they did, obviously didn't. We beat the cupcake teams. We had a couple of close games against, maybe not good offenses, but very good defenses. Like the Falcons game was like very, very tight. And the Browns have like a really good defense, but their offense is lackluster. Since Shadur, obviously, it's gotten better. But yeah, we've definitely benefited from. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's the easiest schedule known to man. Because, I mean, you look at like one of the years Mahomes won the Super Bowl, like his strength of schedule was like 28. You look at MVP Josh Allen last year when he won, his strength of schedule was 29th. Like strength of schedule only goes so far. You play who you play. And like obviously it worked out that some of the teams that we were playing, like they did have some key injuries. And, that's just how football is, unfortunately. It's like there's nothing we can do to prevent it. Like, what do you want us to do? Send our best guy out there with his hands tied behind his back to make up for it? Like, doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I mean, we obviously blew our expectations out of the water. We had a lot of games where, we actually did blow out other teams. We did have some close ones, and then we had a couple of good comeback wins. And I think we had, some life lessons ones. Like, I don't think we're where we're at if we don't have that game against Pittsburgh where we turn the ball over 5 times and still nearly win. I think that's something that Vrabel probably cemented into him. Like, look, you guys can make all these mistakes, and you guys were still in this game, guys. Like, you guys could have taken it from these Steelers. And then a game like the Buffalo Bills, second matchup at home at Gillette, where they're going into it, and it's like, man, these guys are blowing the Bills out. The Bills suck. And then they just fell asleep in the second half, and the Bills were like, we're back. And ultimately they won. Drake May couldn't lead a game-winning drive, and sometimes that happens, but I think that's like a necessary loss right there. And I definitely prefer losing there than maybe losing this wild card. I really hope some of the losses and the tribulations throughout the season has helped them, prepare for these bigger moments, because like the graphic says, like they're all they got. They're all they need. Like what's in the building is what's there. Nobody else is coming to help you. Like you got to get ready and you got to go to war with these people that you've been going to war with. And luckily we have a lot of people healthy. I think Tonga is the only one that's going to be out for Sunday. So I look at that as a huge positive, having everybody back pretty much. So.
People. I'm not worried about the Chargers tomorrow. I'm not. And here's the reason. And I know we're supposed to talk about the regular season at this point, which we did, but I just want to throw this out. Here's the reason why I'm not afraid of the Chargers. Their O-line, banged up. Justin Herbert, not the same quarterbacks he once was when he hurt his non-throwing hand. I just don't see their offense be a threat, but besides McConkey or Hampton. I think it's going to be our defense going to be a full-fledged advantage on that offense.
No, I completely agree. What I'm hearing people say is they're flipping what you said and saying, "Oh, look at what Herbert's done with a depleted O-line." But again, like people bring up our cupcake schedule, that wasn't the playoffs. This is the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, all that matters is you get in. What happens once you actually start beating these playoff teams? Are people still going to be like, cupcakes? Yeah, you guys aren't beating anyone. It's like, these are the other quote-unquote best teams in the AFC. Like, maybe you make the argument that the AFC is, worse than the NFC, which I think we can all agree the NFC is a stronger conference with the Seahawks, with the Rams, with a lot of those teams over there. It doesn't mean the AFC isn't strong, but I think outside of the Chiefs and the Pats winning it, it's pretty much always been an NFC team otherwise.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, actually argue the AFC as the better quarterbacks, but
yeah, definitely. I would say that. I would say that.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's tough.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
go ahead, Tom.
I mean, yeah, I know this is a Patriots podcast, but I just want to know right away, who do you guys got winning the Super Bowl this year?
Oh, jeez.
So if we just go, I'm just going to skip to like AFC conference and NFC conference championship. My AFC conference championship prediction is Bills at Pats. And I think the NFC is going to be Rams at Seahawks. And I think it's going to be one of those four teams that makes the Super Bowl. I just think it would be really cool if it was Buffalo versus Pats for the AFC championship. And can you imagine if the Patriots are the team that stopped the Bills from going to a Super Bowl finally, and we get to go back? I think that would be the greatest story ever.
Yeah, and I'd be afraid of it, but at the same time, that would be oh so nice if we actually stopped them from going to the Super Bowl. I mean, that would, when considering how many people love the Bills coming into this season, that would be like so nice. And think that fan base, that fan base, they will be screaming if that happens. But I mean, hey, I'm not counting out the Jags, but I am counting out Denver. I think the championship game will be played by two of Buffalo, Jacksonville, and us. I would, if I were a betting man, I'd bet on that. And Rams Seahawks would not surprise me at all on the other side.
I just think if the Pats were to make the Super Bowl, which I'm not saying they are because that's a hard journey, but if they were to somehow make the Super Bowl, I do think unfortunately they would lose to I think they would lose to the Seahawks. I think they would lose to the Rams, but I think any other team, I think they'd have a pretty solid shot.
Yeah. Yeah. I made my prediction on my ESPN thing, but my AFC champion. I actually my both championship games are kind of probably thrown you guys off. For AFC, I have Broncos and Texans because the Texans' defense is what could take them to the AFC Championship, in my opinion. And then NFC, this is going to throw a lot of people. I don't see the Eagles advance. I don't see the Rams advance. I actually have Seahawks Bears for the NFC title game.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Because I know people are going to throw shades. Oh, Caleb Williams can't do anything. Oh, he has like 50% of the completed passes. Oh, he literally can't do anything. Stop. When you look at the Bears right now, the Bears have good weapons. The Bears got good players. They got a good coach. And Caleb Williams has actually played a great quarterback play, despite what the stats say. But when you look at the Seahawks,
I think they'll beat the Packers by double digits today. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I guarantee you the Bears are going to win this at home. Like they literally the Packers are the Packers are a fucking favorite by 1.5.
Yeah, see, I don't think the Packers are that good. I mean, yeah, they pick up Trevon Diggs off of waivers, but I don't know. I just feel like they have a considerable lack of pass rush with Micah Parsons obviously not being there anymore. And then because they had to trade away, I forget the D tackle's name, but they traded him to the Cowboys for Micah in part of that deal with the 2 first-round picks. It's like they're missing, their run stopper and their pass rusher. So, like, I personally don't know what the Packers will do. I think their offense is kind of eh.
Yeah, ditto.
Yeah, that's why I say as well.
Oh yeah, it's nice to see like different predictions though out of everyone because I mean that's all it is at the end of the day. Like we could watch these games tonight and tomorrow and Monday and it just goes totally, a different way than any of us saw going. I mean, like I was talking to Andy before the show and I was saying, I hope the Panthers somehow come out and just beat the Rams. I think it would be hilarious and I think it would be awesome too because then I feel like it would put all this Stafford MVP shit to rest. Because I can't remember, but is it MVP voting ends this Monday or was it last Monday? I personally don't remember, but I feel like if they were still allowed to vote and Stafford went out in the first round, like it's like, bro, what are you doing? Especially with that team, like
that'll be freaking great if the Rams do lose to Carolina. I mean, it's the playoffs. Everything's gonna happen, and again, last time these two teams played, it was earlier on November or December. Panthers did win. The Panthers did win, surprisingly. But the Rams are back full healthy. Adams is going to be back. Most of their players are going to be back. But we'll see what's going to happen.
Definitely. So I guess I'll ask you a question, Thomas. When you kind of strip the game down tomorrow night to its core, what type of football game do you want it to be for the Patriots? Do you want it to be, they come out guns blazing? Do you want it to be more a controlled tempo type of game where they're just super physical and like maintain possession of the ball for the longer time? Like what is the best case scenario for how the Patriots handle that game?
To me, I want to be a competitive game. I want to be a competitive game at this point. I just want us to be a well-tempo football team, not like a team not like what Indiana did to frickin' Oregon by blowing them up by almost like 30 plus points. Like I want to see that, but at the same time, I don't. I want to see this Patriots team to play well-tempo, well-concerted football. I just want them to score points whenever they can here, not right away because we all know what happens when we score points right away in some of the games. Our opposing teams come back. That's what happened some of the games this season. I just want us to have to play a well-tempo. I want this team to be a well-tempo team did not just keep like scoring after score after score after score every freaking second or every minute of the first quarter or the rest of the game. So most likely, if the Patriots want to be well in the playoffs, especially when you play against a Chargers team that has, like, in my opinion, their O-line depleted, and against a defense that's just no slouch at this point, you need to play well. You need to play with tempo. If you don't have tempo, then it's going to be off key for this team.
Yeah, so you're basically saying you don't want it to be like a track meet where it's just like, boom, they score. You just want it to be like the Patriots dictate everything. You want them to be like, this is what we're gonna do. You guys are gonna have to bend the knee because we're not changing our way.
Yes, I just want the Patriots to be not like a trap meet, because I know the Chargers, their O-line has been depleted and they don't have a good O-line, but they still got Herbert. They still got Amari Hampton, the rookie for North Carolina. I'm surprised. I was hoping he was going to play good this season, which he is still. Lat McConkey, freaking Keenan Allen. I'm surprised he returned to the team this season. They still got good weapons, but all they missing is a good offensive line. If you don't have a good O-line, like I said, your quarterback is getting banged up. That's what happened with Justin this season. It's not Justin Herbert's fault that he's played this bad. The quarterback play is fine, but if you don't have a good offensive line, shit hits the fan.
Like, I don't know if it was necessarily the O-line, but, like, I do kind of agree with you, Thomas. Like, I want to see a game like Vrabel came in and played with the Titans against us back in 2020. Like, it was not exactly a rout, but, Vrabel came in, he's like, I know Belichick, I know how to beat him, and my game plan is my game plan, and I'm not straying from it. And he came in here and he did that. And Logan Ryan gets the pick six off of Tom Brady, and there you go. But yeah, I mean, you don't want to let Jim Harbaugh rather come in here and think, okay, I've got this stud pass defense top 5 in the league. I've got a young gun at quarterback. I've got these pass catchers in this running back. You don't want to make him come in here and think, okay, I can walk all over this team. I mean, we know from history, it's not easy to walk over a Mike Vrabel coach team. And that was when he had Ryan Tannehill and Josh Dobbs at quarterback. Now he's got Drake May. So I'm not saying, pardon me, I'm not saying controlling the tempo will be easy, but it is, and I mean, I kind of like, I didn't watch too many Chargers games this year. I don't know how well they do scoring first. Like,
I mean, I watched some of the games, and I watched them play against Houston, but on the Houston game, they're not even that they haven't been significantly well on third down. But
right.
as for the other games against other teams, they tend to some of the times they score second when the team scores first, but some of the times they score first, or because they're due to the availability for the players. So
yeah, I'm not sure their record against playoff teams either. Did they? No, the Broncos obviously beat them in that last game.
All I remember about the Chargers is having Lad McConkey and Quentin Johnson in fantasy, and it's always like 1 week one would pop off and the other would do absolutely fucking nothing. So,
yeah, I know. Yeah,
I know. But stupid fucking computer. Sorry about that.
No, good.
Okay, but as I was trying to say here, like, I know it's hard to face a freaking Mike Vrabel team, but at the same time, it's not going to be easy to go against a Jim Harbaugh team, because I know Jim Harbaugh from the back of my neck. When he coached Michigan to a national title game, everyone's afraid of facing Jim Harbaugh. He's probably the best masterminds of football. And hell, he took And hell, he took the Niners to a Super Bowl. And I know he lost to his brother, John, but still, he took that team to a Super Bowl. He has like playoff experience as a head coach. I know people are going to be afraid of Jim. I'm pretty sure I'm a little bit here, but it's going to be difficult to face a Jim Harbaugh team. It's probably just me.
I think the other outlier, though, is the fact that this is an LA team that is going to have to fly to New England, which is a 3-hour time difference. So they're losing 3 hours. Not only that, the game is predicted to have something like 20-mile-per-hour winds and a 30-degree like weather out there, potential rain. So it's like I really don't think this LA team, who's used to playing in a dome for the entirety of a season, is going to come to New England in 30-degree weather with rain and wind and come out here slinging. Like, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, we talked about, and of course, yesterday on the radio, it was like, okay, we got this team on a 5.5-hour flight, 3-hour time difference from a dome, warm weather. Coming here, it's like, well, what does it say about the Patriots if they win? Well, no, take that, and it's like, okay, this team flying cross country from a warm weather climate with a depleted O-line. Well, I mean, yeah, if they got the coach and the quarterback, yes, I think I give the edge to Vrabel and May over Harbaugh and Herbert, but when you look at playoff history, I mean, teams that do that, I don't think have the best record. So we'll see.
Yeah,
it's definitely, sorry, Austin, it's definitely not, Chicago and Green Bay tonight, two cold weather teams. But,
yeah, to me, I feel like that's a game that could go either way because they play in pretty similar climate type shit. I mean, isn't Lambeau known as like the frozen tundra? And it's like when you play in Chicago, it's just as cold. I think that they are playing in Chicago, so it's gonna be cold, man. Especially nighttime game. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if they were coming to New England and we had, the 1 o'clock spot, yeah, maybe I'm like, ugh. Like, for instance, Jacksonville, like, I think Jacksonville's going to have the advantage against the Bills there because they're playing at 1 o'clock in Florida. The Bills have been playing in cold weather. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to be asked to go down to, like, Miami type of heat. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. But, like, that plays into your conditioning, into how you can play. Like, I feel the fact that the Patriots – play in cold weather a lot, like they're going to benefit. So, yeah. And I mean, like you were saying earlier, Thomas, with the Chargers offensive line, like that line is abysmal right now. I was listening to some of the, analysts on, whether it's ESPN or just on YouTube or whatever it is. And a lot of them were saying that the way the Chargers O-line is this year is arguably worse than the Patriots had it last year. And it's hard to believe, but when you start looking at the numbers and like the PFF grades and all that, you're like, damn. Like I think their left tackle is ranked like 80th out of 83. Their left guard is ranked like 76 out of 78. Their right guard's their best player, who's like 53 out of 78. Their center is almost dead last, and then their backup right tackle is like nearly dead last, like in a lot of the metrics. And it's just...
But people are going to flip that and say, oh, the 25 Chargers went 11-6 and the 24 Patriots went 4-13. You know that argument's going to be there.
Okay, but the difference is like they have the receivers to get open. So sometimes it can negate having those. They have this quarterback that can scramble. Like last year, May didn't play until what was it, week 7 or week 8 or week 6, something like that. But
I go right back at that with 3 things. You've got the quarterback, you've got we have the quarterback, you've got the pass catchers, and you've got the defense. We didn't have either of those things last year. They have McConkey, they have Gadsden, they have Keenan Allen. They don't have freaking Hulk Baker out there,
They got Hampton. Like I would argue the strong suit of our game for the Patriots the past 2 years has been special teams, which is sad.
100%.
It's sad to think about.
Hunter Henry.
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. But question for you, Andy. For the game Sunday night, within the first 5 to 10 minutes, do you think you'll be able to tell like what sort of playoff game it's going to turn into? Like, are we going to be able to see the Chargers pass protection is shit? Are we going to see, the energy of the crowd? Like, take us through what you expect of maybe the fans and of the teams Sunday night.
Yeah, that's a good question. I have heard that Gillette is not, quite as raucous as some other stadiums. Like if you go to Buffalo or San Francisco or Green Bay, but I think there is a chance by the end of the first quarter we could get an idea of how this game is going to go. Like if May is shredding the Chargers' pass defense on third down. If the defense is holding them to third downs, I mean, we'll get an idea of that. We'll get an idea of what Herbert's throwing skills look like. I mean, if it's is there a chance it's close, like tied? Yeah, I mean, if it's 7-all, 10-7. Yeah, the more I think about it, it's like, Hmm.
I think maybe
Yeah.
Gonzo gets his first pick of the season.
Okay, that's a good call.
Because I like Herbert, but like to me, this is like kind of how I think the Pats are going to game plan and how Vrabel's been like talking him up. Is I feel like with Herbert's left hand being injured, I feel like anytime he's like scrambling with the ball, I think the Patriots have instructed their players swat that hand.
Yep.
Swat that hand, like hurt that hand. And it sucks to be like, go after that. But I mean, like, it's in the injury reports. Everyone knows it's, an issue, a nagging issue. Like,
when
it's part of the game. Like, go after the hand. He's going to hopefully fumble it because he's not going to be as strong. Or, maybe it's hurting or weak. Like, I think that's something that they're going to tell all the Pats players, attack that, be physical on that.
Like, I know when Brady and Manning were injured, the opposing defenses, it's all, okay, go for the vulnerability, But if I were a betting man, I'd bet on a strip sack or a pick from Herbert in the first half, not necessarily the first quarter, but if this defense can really repeatedly get to Justin Herbert, he is mobile, but if they can repeatedly get to him and hit that bum hand, there's a chance this game gets out of reach for the Chargers.
Because not for nothing, like if there's a scenario where, obviously, I think in a perfect world we want to beat Justin Herbert, but if there's some reason where one of our guys tackles him and falls on that hand, or he just like gets tackled and he tries to brace himself and he falls on his hand wrong, and then it turns into Trey Lance coming into the game, you might as well sweep that one under the rug because that game's over.
That game, set, and match if they wind up having to pull in Trey Lance. Yeah, but as for the first 10 minutes, I think we could get an early idea. Like if the Chargers defense gets May into third downs and he can convert. Or on the flip side, Herbert is effective scrambling. Like if either of those things is the case through most of the first quarter, that could be a sign of how the entire game's going to go. Or, we could see adjustments in the second half. So,
yeah. I'm also a little concerned with like I know we talked the Chargers have a, subpar offensive line, but it's not like our edge rushers have been world beaters this season. Correct. Or anything crazy. Like I feel like Kayvon Chaisson, very solid, definitely played above what we paid him. I think we should extend him come next season, like give him a contract extension. I think he's earned that much. Like if anything, he's a solid rotational piece that you can just mix in there.
We've got the IDL, not so much the edge rushers. Yeah, go on.
Right. Harold Landry, I'm hoping the fact that he hasn't played quality snaps the past couple of games, he's had time to really rest that hamstring or knee or whatever it is with his leg going on. I think it's his hamstring, but I hope he's had enough time over the past couple of games because it's either he hasn't played or it's just been very limited snaps in the games. I'm hoping with that rest that he is back to par to something similar that we saw the first couple weeks of the season where he's consistently getting that pressure versus where he was kind of falling off midway through the season. I think if we see early season Harold Landry, it'll be a lot better because it's like some of the Boston sports people are saying about Landry is he has 8.5 sacks and leads the team. I'm over here like, when did he get those sacks? Because it feels like he hasn't played in forever. But it's crazy that he leads the team. That's where like I get concerned with the Patriots. Like our pass rush is the only thing that's like scaring me. But I'm hoping against the Chargers O-line that's not that good that we can still get to the quarterback. And hopefully with our D tackles, it'll be great to have Milton and Barmore again. And I think we're going to be able to clog the run. So the only thing they can do is pass. I think it's just going to turn into a pass game for the Chargers. People forget how effective this team was against the run when we actually had
defending the run,
all our D tackles like in the game. So,
and if it comes down to Herbert having to throw the ball, yeah, you could see a pick from either from one of Marcus Jones. Oh gosh, they'll kill me. You could see a pick from one of Marcus Jones, Gonzo, or Carlton Davis.
Yeah. And, I think it's not like I don't think the Chargers aren't a talented team. I think they are. But I think they've been very inconsistent this year when playing in hostile environments. Because nobody can argue Herbert's talent. Nobody can argue Ladd McConkey's talent. I mean, hell, we wanted him on our team last year. And obviously we traded away picks and got Jalen Joke and Javon Faker. So,
wow.
But, home playoff football changes communication for the defense as well. Like, I feel like it's going to be so much harder for the Chargers to just be able to call plays, whether on offense or defense, like whether it's trying to hear through the helmet when all the fans are going crazy or, just trying to read hand signals from the sidelines. The Patriots have also shown that they can win multiple styles of games this season. You go back to week 2 against the Dolphins where Antonio Gibson has the, game-winning kick return touchdown essentially. You have games like the Buccaneers where Trevion Henderson just takes over the game and just runs into oblivion. You have games, like the Bills primetime matchup that we had where Stephon Diggs necessarily didn't have a touchdown, but Drake May and Stephon Diggs connection just felt like otherworldly. It was just
148 yards in that game. Crazy. Yeah.
So you have a game like that. You have a game like the Saints where everybody's getting the rock. It doesn't matter. Like it's being spread out. No one part is bigger than the whole. Like
5 different receivers in that second Jets game.
You have a Bengals game where the offense is stalling, and you're like, man, I don't know what to do. And you get a Marcus Jones pick 6 off of Flacco. I mean, you have a game like the Giants where, man, it was kind of neck and neck. Boom, Marcus Jones punt return. All right, let's get the horses going. Like, you've had multiple ways of, like, how you've kicked off a game, how you finish a game, like, how you played a game. Like, I think that's the biggest thing about the Patriots. And it's what a lot of the analysts are saying, too, is the Patriots are one of, if not the most complete team heading into these playoffs, at least if we just look at an AFC side of things. Because, I mean, we have our same starting O-line from week 1. We have our running backs coming online. I mean, Henderson didn't play half the season, basically, and I think he's probably going to end up being runner-up for Rookie of the Year. I think he should win it because if you look at the fact that he barely played and he still put up those numbers, I think he should have won Rookie of the Year. I think ultimately it goes to Teterow and McMillan. But, I mean, he came online. Ramondre. Think of Ramondre. Week 3, we're like, get this guy off my team.
Get rid of him.
I don't want to see this guy ever
remember Dow
again.
and I spent like almost 2 hours, and half of which was like, what is Vrabel's problem? Why does he like Mondre? Get rid of him. And now it's like, I mean, yeah, you're talking the Jets and the Dolphins, but he bounced back after that. He bounced back in that first Buffalo game after the fumble, had a couple touchdowns. So,
yeah, there's no better time for like your running back or like pretty much any position to come online than right towards the end of the year where it's like you got to pick up steam. So seeing Ramondre come online, in the fashion that he did. We didn't really see him much in that blowout against the Bills. Then he comes online at the end of the Ravens game, scoring that game-winning touchdown. Then he has a decent game against the Jets, and then he just goes nuclear against the Dolphins. It's an upward trajectory, and you're going into these playoffs now going like, our O-line is completely healthy. They're back. Both our running backs seem to be going on all cylinders. Like, people make the argument that Drake May was like farming touchdowns on the Jets or something like that. And it's like, bro, they took him out in the second quarter, basically, third quarter.
They're saying that about May.
Yeah, and then they were like shitting on May because he only had one touchdown against the Dolphins. And it's
May farms touchdowns and Stafford doesn't. Give me a break.
I know. Stafford has something like 19 passing touchdowns from within like 4 yards.
Yeah, they were saying that even on Boston radio. It's like, look at you talk about farming touchdowns. Let me show you Matt Stafford. Like, but I like your point about like arguably the healthiest O-line in the league, and nobody has mentioned that. And a healthy O-line is kind of a must. Especially, we did lose Campbell for those 4 or 5 games.
And just because we're the healthiest O-line doesn't mean I'm out here being like, these guys are the best O-line. Because frankly, I don't think that's the case. I mean, you still have 2 rookies on the left side of the line who arguably have been your best linemen. And then obviously you have your veteran on the right side. And then Garrett Bradbury, who's been, honestly, I think Garrett Bradbury's probably been the best offensive lineman we've had this year. Like, definitely a blessing in disguise. Like, we all saw him sign, and we're like, I guess he'll fill the role for now. And it's like, no, this guy can ball. Like, he's actually a really good blocker. I think when it comes to healthiness, it's just you build that trust. So it's not so much he's always just going to be like, oh, yeah, Will Campbell's always going to block, let's say we were going against the Texans, Will Anderson, or even in the case of the Chargers. It's not like we're going to sit here and be like, Will Campbell's going to block Khalil Mack all game, nothing's going to happen. Obviously, Khalil Mack's going to get his. Maybe even Bud Dupree. Like, Bud Dupree's going to get around Will Campbell or whatever. But I think it's just the trust that he has in this, and then the ability to be able to scramble. Like, he can make up for that. But, yeah, ultimately it comes down to trust and the fact that you've just had the same O-line all season, minus, your left guard, left tackle being swapped out for a couple games. Like, I think that's huge. And then I think the sleeper for our offense right now is actually our bigger packages, like our 12-man, 13-man, where it's like you bring in the fullback, you bring in an extra lineman to be a tight end. Like, you just have those huge fronts, similarly to, Ramondre and the Wildcat. You had Drake May out wide, and then it was just 10 dudes blocking for Ramondre. Like, and that shit's insane.
That's your McDaniels offense right there. I mean, obviously you did it all the time when we had Brady, and especially in the playoffs, you catch the defense completely unawares. I mean, we remember Harbaugh flying off the handles in that Baltimore game back in 2015. It's what you're going to see some of those, spicy formations with McDaniels. And that's really, that's a nice thing, because we didn't have those kind of disguise plays the past few years. They were just non-existent. It was just like, okay, check down this, running play here, a bunch of crapola.
I guess my other question I was going to ask for you, Thomas, like, do you think the Patriots have more pressure on their backs to get a win, or do you think the Chargers have the most pressure on them as the road team with a star quarterback to get the win?
To me, it's the Patriots, because here's the reason why here. One, I do not want to say this here, and it's true, and I found this from ESPN on the Patriots' weakness of our team in the playoffs. We lack experience in the playoffs. None of our players have playoff experience. Drake May has not. Ramondre has not. Actually, I don't know.
One player. Harold Landry. That's the only one.
Harold Landry and Milton Williams.
Yeah. Knocked out by computer again.
You forgot Milton Williams. He won a Super Bowl.
what I'm trying to say, besides those guys, none of our players, besides Landry and besides Williams, who won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, none of our players have playoff experience. The Chargers have playoff experience. Justin Herbert has playoff experience. Hell, Keenan Allen has playoff experience. Some of the other Chargers players have playoff experience. Our team, none of our players have playoff experience. So I just feel like the pressure is on New England here. We need to play good football. Need to settle in for the playoffs and act it like it's a regular season game, not something that is not something to do with to try to fool around and just try to frickin' please the frickin' fans, please the NFL or something like that. For the Patriots' sake. Yeah, for the Patriots' sake. They need to experience the playoffs, which none of our players besides Williams, besides Diggs, besides Landry, none of our players have playoff experience. We need to take that chance. We don't let it for granted.
I do think delusional Pats fan makes a good point here, though, where it's like New England doesn't have any experience, but what experience does the Chargers have? I mean, the 2 playoff games that Herbert has played in, he's looked abysmal, and they lost both. It was that big one where they had that huge lead on the Jags, and they just totally collapsed. And I'm not sure what the other playoff game they were in was, but both times he's been in the playoffs, he's just shown that he can't handle the moment. So
four turnovers against the Texans last year.
Yeah, so who's to say that the Chargers have any more experience than us other than they know how to lose in the playoffs? Like Harbaugh's their only plus, right? Like similarly to, you make the same argument to us. Like we haven't been in the playoffs, we haven't had the opportunity to lose, but Vrabel's kind of like the guy who's going to have to coach everyone up and get people knowing like this is a big game. The same way I'm sure Harbaugh is saying, I know you guys are young, but this is a big game. So I don't know. I think it's pretty even in those aspects.
Okay, I know. Paper waves. Tyler, I know Morgan Moses and Carlton Davis have playoff experience. I'm talking about the young players that do not have playoff experience. Every one of our players who are young do not have playoff experience. That is what ESPN said, and I'm going by what ESPN said. We do not have playoff experience, and plus we haven't tasted the playoffs since 2021. But the first time we went to the playoffs with the AFC's title, 2019. And guess what? We lost the Titans that time. And now here's the deja vu. We're in the wild card, won the AFC East. We need to win. They need to win this game here, or else it's deja vu from the 2019 game when we played the Titans. We would lose. We just need. I'm just gonna say this once here. I'm gonna say it again here. Do not let the playoffs be a short-lived ride for granted. Because the goal here, according to Vrabel, is to make workhorse through the playoffs and get to a championship. That is the goal for this team, which I just don't see us make it to the AFC Championship at this point here with this team here when it comes to injuries and stuff. But number two, they got to play good football, even especially in a big stage like this. You're hosting a playoff game for the first time since 2019. You do not want to choke that up.
Definitely. Let's see. So in January, I think talent matters, but I think availability decides everything. You can have the most talented guy on your roster, but if he's not healthy, if he's not available, he's not going to be contributing to your team out there. I do also think that this is this is the time of year where you can't really afford to try new things. You can't really afford to sub somebody into the rotation that really hasn't proven themselves. I think coaches are going to go with, the people they trust beyond everything. But I think it's a good time to maybe talk about, some of the people that have stepped up this year and then also talk about some of the injuries going on. So let's start with the injuries. I'll pull up the injury report for both teams. So I don't know if you guys want to take a look. The Chargers, A lot of people questionable. I think they have Keandre Lambert-Smith out. He's a wide receiver, which I doubt that would have affected anything. Dante Jackson, who I believe is their star corner, he looks like he's a full participant and will play. Justin Herbert's going to play. According to Amari Hampton, he hasn't really practiced at all this week, but he's going to play, I guess. If I'm the Pats, I'm attacking him. I'm going for the ball every time. The guy hasn't practiced in a while. He hasn't played that well. Yeah, is there anybody on this Chargers injury report here, guys, that you see that we would benefit greatly from them not being in the game Sunday? Can't hear you, Thomas.
For fuck's sake. Muted my mic again. Ugh. Well, I was trying to say, I don't think there's any player who's going to be out. I'm afraid. I mean, who's going to be happy that he's not playing. I'm scared of every one of these guys, especially the guy right here, Khalil Mack.
Yeah, Khalil Mack's a damn good player. He's somebody that I think when you look back at his career, he could be, one of the all-timers. He's just been that solid over the course of his career. So obviously I'm scared of him. I think the other pass rushers, or one of them at least, is Bud Dupree. I think he's solid, but I think he's also kind of long on the tooth. Yeah, it's hard looking at injury reports this time of year because pretty much if it says questionable, it probably means they're going to play. So, and I would say the same for the Patriots. If we go down to the Patriots injury report, Bradbury is dealing with an illness. He didn't participate for Wednesday and Thursday, but Friday he was a full participant. Anthony Jennings, illness. 4 people on the team actually illness. That's crazy. I almost wonder if they also caught the flu. I sound a little different to anybody wondering because I caught the flu and I've been sick for 2 weeks and I finally feel okay enough to kind of talk, but my throat is shot. So I'm basically having to project my voice right now. But yeah, it's interesting. Bradbury, Jennings, Lowe, and Moses were all sick with something. So I'm going to assume that was the flu, but they were full participants. Tonga's the only one that's out. And then everyone else is pretty much questionable full participant. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll have everyone here.
And Hollins is out too.
Yeah, Hollins is on IR. I think everyone was concerned about Trevion, but it turns out it was personal. I don't know exactly what. And then I'm really hoping Booty can go. It's his hamstring again, and that sucks because what's happening with Booty is kind of what I thought happened to T. Higgins last year, where it just felt like every game it was his hamstring, or maybe not last year, but prior years. Hamstring on a wide receiver is huge. I think it was 2 years too. Justin Jefferson was dealing with a bad hamstring injury. Those things can hurt, and I wonder if Booty's not there, if we're gonna have to see more out of Efton Chisholm, because I think it was saying if Booty's not ready to go, it's literally Diggs, Kyle Williams, Efton Chisholm, Pop Douglas. Am I forgetting anyone? We got 4 receivers.
No, you're not. You're not.
It's I don't know how I feel about that group right there. So
test the deep threat that people think Kyle Williams is. I mean, he's scored for you a couple times this season.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of concerning because Booty's been playing a lot, obviously. If he doesn't play, then obviously we get Pop Douglas, who I really haven't seen at all these past couple weeks. So I don't know how he's going to play. And then, honestly, in Efton Chisholm, we trust, all right? I've been impressed with the limited shit that he's been able to do. I'm confident that if it came down to it, he has solid hands, he's going to catch everything. I personally think so. I think he can serve as an Edelman. I'm hoping at least, because it's not looking great if we're without Booty, because what if Booty's not ready to go, or let's say Booty's ready to go, we have to wait like 4 weeks for Hollins, right? So like the only way we could get Hollins is if we were in the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you when I pumping up Chiz in the offseason, Austin. Yeah, that kid is... yeah, again, it was the Jets and the Dolphins, but yeah, I think that kid has something.
True. Let's see. Just trying to look at my notes real quick. I guess I'll ask you, Andy, who have you been most impressed with this season? And like of that, who do you think is going to help us contribute in this playoff run? And I'd like to pose that you answer in a way where it's not one of these big ticket free agent guys. Maybe it's one of these guys that we didn't see coming who's made a big impact for us.
Yeah, that's a good question. I like that. I was gonna say the wide receivers have impressed me the most because they've been obviously a problem of ours since before Brady left, really dating back to the 19 or even the 2018 NFL draft. I was gonna say, you said not one of the big free agent signings, which means I obviously can't say Stephon Diggs. But it's like, yeah, you have Stephon Diggs, who, like I said, first 1,000-yard receiver since Edelman, and then, spreading the ball around to Pop Douglas in the early part of the season, and then it's been Booty, it's been Hollins, it's been Kyle Williams here and there, it's been Efton Chisholm of late. I'd have to say, as much promise as he showed me last year, the breakout receiver not named Steph Diggs is Kayshon Boutte. I mean, he is the safety blanket for Drake May. We saw him in that Saints game. And a couple of other games too, I think maybe against Cincinnati. Help me out if I'm wrong there. But let me just take a quick look at his numbers. I don't think it's much over 500, but he's just a reliable. He's a reliable guy for 551. So actually fewer than last year when he had 589. So it's been 551.
I think he leads the team in touchdowns, though.
Correct. 6 touchdowns. Yep. Averaging 16.7 yards per catch, which is pretty darn good. 33 receptions for 551 and 6 touchdowns. That leads You're right. Leads the team in touchdowns over Steph Diggs and Hunter Henry. So yeah, he position player Kayshon Boutte, obviously position wide receiver for me.
Yeah, I would definitely say like Boutte is a good option. I really like how Craig Woodson has come into his own. I think he's been a really good player for us. Dr. Gibby has been good. He wasn't like a huge signing. So I would say he's kind of flown under the radar and was pretty good.
And Chase on.
But I think my guy has to be is it Corey Durden, the D tackle? Dude, that guy just plays aggressive. I think he's done wonderful in Tonga's absence, to be honest. Obviously, it's hard to make up for Tonga being as big as he is, but Durden, it feels like he's been in on a lot of these plays, and I think he'll help a lot in the rotation coming into the playoffs.
And there's another, I think he's a DT whom we talk about a lot, and I'm brain farting on his name right now. Oh boy. He was a UDFA.
I'm looking up the roster right now.
I know.
So obviously, Corey Dirt, Eric Gregory, no.
No. Elijah Ponder.
Ponder, yeah, he's been killer too. Like I said,
Yeah,
I
he's
think
definitely
we have
solid.
like sneaky depth there, where
I
you
know.
wouldn't think. But yeah, I really am happy with the D tackle position this year. I still think the biggest need going into next year's draft is an actual pass rusher, and then probably a wide receiver.
And
But
Wide
add something to
receivers
the
fair.
offensive
Maybe
line.
tight end.
yeah, right tackle. Yeah, I would say pass rusher and right tackle. I think we could get by with the receivers that we have again this year. To be honest, like if Kyle Williams continues to improve, if Booty comes into his own, if Diggs can at least play, maybe he only gets 750 receiving yards next year, but he still plays decent. Like my biggest concern is just like once Diggs is gone, who fills that role? Because like a lot of us thought, oh, he's washed, but when you look at him play, it's like he's filled that wide receiver one role, like something we've desperately been missing. Like he's been playing great, so I'm just really concerned like who we're gonna bring in to fill that because he's only getting up there in age. But we technically have him for 2 more years, so I'm hoping he just continues to play well.
I put it in the chat. Tight end could be a need too. Will be.
Yeah, I think we're okay with Hunter Henry right now, unless something
Mhm.
crazy happens. Like I don't know. It's probably the same case with Diggs. Like they're both 31 or 32. Like they have a few years left. I mean, look at Kelsey. Like arguably
Yeah.
his worst season ever this year, and like he still wasn't terrible. He just wasn't. I think the problem is people were expecting an All-Pro season out of Kelsey when like that team is not constructed like that this year. And he obviously played very subpar, but let's see. I want to do a little bit of like enemy scouting as well. Because to me, like playoff football punishes assumptions. If you go into a game and you just go, oh, well, these guys aren't going to do anything because XYZ, whatever, you're already in the wrong. I think logos don't matter. Records don't matter. Like everything gets reset. All that matters is like what the team can do for you right now. And obviously, I think the Chargers being on the road are under a lot of pressure. But I think the biggest thing the Pats can do is, respect the opponent without inflating them. Kind of, understand this is a good team, but don't fall into the trap of, these guys are so much better than us. We can't compete. It's like, no, respect your opponent. I think the Chargers are going to want to be like I think all season the Chargers have fed off of explosive plays. So if we can just focus on limiting the explosive plays, I think their patience is going to drift, and I think they're just going to have to start slinging that if they're playing behind schedule. And I think that's where the Chargers make a lot of their mistakes, where I compare Herbert to like a Brett Favre, where he just turns into a gunslinger, just freaking trying to launch the shit, bullet it in, and I just think he's going to get a lot of turnovers that way.
Yeah, somebody, I think it was Bar said yesterday, or the day before, he's not quite Joe Milton, but obviously, but you watch that gun, and he just like May and Allen are gunslingers, but they have touch. Guys like Herbert, in a way, he's more like Jackson Dart. He just like, well, he's more careful than Dart, but he just like heaves that freaking ball.
Yeah, I think
all about the explosives going.
I think like Herbert and Caleb Williams are similar in that aspect. Like I feel like Caleb Williams only knows how to throw it one way, and it's hard. It's just
right. Yeah.
Another thing I want to talk about with the Chargers is like, and I want to get your opinion on Thomas, is their defensive coordinator is known to run very heavy zone, like for their defensive identity, and they do a lot of disguising pre-snap looks. They don't necessarily have to blitz a lot because they do have some of the best like edge rushers in the league, and they just are pretty good at tackling. So, what do you think the Patriots are going to be able to eat this zone alive? Because just going based off of this past year, when Drake Mays faced zone, he's pretty much completely picked the other team apart. So I'm curious if you think the Chargers will have to maybe change their strategy, or if they're just going to lay it all on the line and just go, nope, you got to try and beat our zone.
Part of me say they need to change it, but part of me say that they're going to stick with playing zone here. I mean, they're trying to freaking ease their way to stop the Patriots offense from playing good, but we'll see what's going to happen on Sunday, though.
And for you, Andy, do you think our defense will do a good job being able to get to the quarterback and disguising some of these formations? Because I would argue that, we're a pretty heavy zone team as well. Do you think Herbert's going to have a heyday with that, with the way McConkey's able to run routes, with the way Quentin Johnson can kind of stretch the field on the X position, and Keenan Allen always seems to be his first down go-to when he needs to move the chains? Like, how do you think our defense will be able to react to that?
Yeah, I know May is one of the better quarterbacks in the league against zone. I think actually Herbert might be. I think May is first and Herbert is third. So they're both, top 5. I'm sorry, could you sorry, Austin, say the question again. I'm kind of fogging.
I guess I was just saying, like, knowing that the Patriots also use a lot of zone, do you think they'd switch up what they're doing against, a team like the Chargers, where they do have a good quarterback, they do have, 3 receivers that do a lot of different things that can help them? Like, unfortunately, I think Lab McConkey would probably eat zone alive with the way he's able to run routes. I think Quentin Johnson and Keenan Allen will probably be slowed down as a result, but yeah, I'm most worried about Lad.
I hope we can adjust to that. Like, I know we've talked about like zone versus man, like for whatever reason, Vrabel and Koor love playing zone. I just think, like, God forbid it's the end of the first half and you get eaten alive by Lad McConkey. You're gonna have to go into that second half and think, okay, how do we take this guy out of the game? You have one. I mean, it's like if you have one guy, I don't really know how to phrase this. Like, if you can say you have like one problem defender, I know it sounds so novice here. But it's like, okay, so it's like, okay, he made it through busted coverage on this play, and here's the Patriots defender who was at fault for that. It's like, okay, we're gonna pull him to the side. It's like, okay, tell that guy what he did wrong, but maybe not like pull a Belichick, like maybe tell that guy how he can, like, I don't know, maybe fix things on the next play. I hope you guys know what I'm trying to get at here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But yeah,
I was just trying to get a feel for, because obviously, like, when you run a defense a certain way, I think, unfortunately, having Kerr as our, interim DC he's probably leaning into what he's used to. So he's probably doesn't have a lot of faith in our safeties being able to play man. I know we sprinkle in man sometimes, but on the plays that, Craig Woodson, for instance, has had to play man, it hasn't looked great. Same with Jalen Hawkins. So I definitely understand that, but why not do a lot of too high, cover 2 man type of thing, where it's like your safeties are still in zone covering the deep halves of the field, and then you have everybody else manned up.
And you've got a corner, and you've got like Gonzo. You put like Gonzo on McConkey, in other words.
I personally think like Marcus Jones is going to get on McConkey.
Why?
I just think we need Gonzo on Quentin Johnston.
Okay.
And I think Carlton's going to have to cover Keenan. I just think we need our size corners on their size receivers. And it's just going to come down to Marcus needs to make plays against Ladd, basically. I just don't want Marcus falling asleep. It feels like a couple plays this year, like when he's on defense, is like
asleep at the wheel. Yeah.
It might have been the Bills where like somebody did like a crossing route in the back end of the end zone and he's just like standing there. It's like, move, bro, like run.
Right. Yeah. It was, I think that might have been on the Dawson Knox touchdown. And well, that doesn't make sense, but could have it been not? It must have been Knox. I don't know. It's either Knox or it might have been Shakir and Jones was like, hey, what the fuck? It's like, I was like, oh boy, he caught it. I was like, yeah, buddy, he caught that. But no, I think, but yeah, I would like to see some more diverse coverages if McConkey does happen to eat us alive in the first half. But like you said about Core, he might just go with what he's used to. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
Moving on to kind of like matchups, I guess. I want to talk about it with you, Thomas. The Patriots O-line versus the Chargers pass rush. So the Chargers, in my opinion, don't really need the blitz to disrupt the game. They're pretty comfortable rushing forward and letting coverage do the rest, which is why they are able to play a lot of zone. That puts the spotlight squarely on the Patriots' protection, I'd say more specifically on the tackle positions, although Tart is a really good D tackle for them. I think it's going to require a lot of edge discipline. The interior communication is going to need to be there. Third down blitz pickups, if they do decide to blitz, Ramondre is going to have to be on top of that. And then it's about, avoiding negative plays that can kill the drives. But, how much protection or how much success do you think the Patriots can have if they are able to just limit the opportunities the Chargers pass rush is, getting to the quarterback?
I mean, can you repeat that again, please? Kind of blank.
Yeah, I'm just curious your thoughts on the Chargers pass rush versus the Patriots O-line and what sort of success the Patriots can expect if they could. I'm not saying they're going to stop the Chargers pass rush all game, but I'm just asking, what sort of success can we expect from it?
I think there's going to be success on the almost like late second quarter to like the second half, because first quarter we're going to see some mistakes because mainly on the left side of the line, because I still can trust Morgan Moses on the right side of the line here. I don't still trust the left side at all here. If Darian Lowe is going to be a dumb idiot of not going to guard if freaking Campbell and Wilson are going to be back here, but if they're going to return, which I hope they will, then I think the left side should be fine here for late first quarter to like the rest of the game. But still, I think we're going to get like bad mishaps in the first quarter with the offensive line here against the pass rush. But late first to the rest of the game, we should be fine with it.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like a feel it out type of game. I'm not as concerned against this Chargers pass rush as I would be if we were facing somebody like the Texans, where they have, Danielle Hunter on one end and Will Anderson Jr. on the other. That's a more scary tandem than what we'd see out of Khalil Mack, Bud Dupree, and some of these other guys.
Yep.
But yeah, I do agree with you in the sense that it is probably going to take a quarter or so to get them acclimated to understand the move set to really, help protect Drake May. But I think the fact that Drake May is a scrambling quarterback is going to help a lot. Since Andy stepped away, I guess I'll ask you as well. I just want to discuss the Patriots run game versus the Chargers front. I think the Chargers run defense is actually like bottom half of the league. I want to say it's like 23rd or 26th. So they actually really struggle against the run. And obviously with our run game kind of coming online late in the season, like it did, do you see the Patriots being able to maybe just put the game on autopilot for Drake May and him maybe not having to make as many crazy plays because our run game is just going to be that dominant over the Chargers? Or do you think it's going to be more of a struggle than maybe some of these analysts are kind of leading on?
I think it's going to be struggles. Like sometimes we're going to get like good run game, but sometimes we're going to get struggle here. Like I said here, when we talk about look at the regular season against the Browns, like their defense has been up and down, but we cannot ignore their run defense. They literally stopped us at the game. And same with the Falcons. They stopped us on the run. And there's a few teams who stop us on the run. Like, and yes, we're talking about the freaking Chargers, which, like you said, 23rd or like almost in the bottom half in the league and past run defense. But I don't trust that until we look at the game, because if we somehow get stuffed by a defense like that, yeah, I think it's time to cue Drake.
No,
Drake
we're
May.
still going. We started late. Oh, okay. I thought you just did an awesome.
No, definitely. I agree with those points. It's the same thing. I think a lot of everything is just gonna be. We'll have to see what happens when the game, starts and what they're able to do. I'll finish it off with you again, Thomas, though, because you kind of alluded to this with the Chargers' offensive line being so abysmal. How do you think our defensive front will be able to perform against this offensive line? Do you think we're just going to make Justin Herbert's day hell, or do you think that may be more of a struggle?
I say both, because I say both here because I think we'll give Justin Herbert. We're going to struggle the first quarter again, like I said with the previous question. But B, late first quarter to the rest of the game, I think we'll give Justin Herbert some hell. We might get like 3-4 sacks out of it, but I'm not overconfident that we're getting like 5+. But we may give Justin Herbert some hell at this game, and plus, I feel like that since. Hold on a minute, I'm almost gonna sneeze. False alarm. But when it comes to teams play in indoor venues, play like on cold temperature games here. I'm not saying they're like Miami, but to some of the teams like the Chargers, Rams, or yada yada yada, cannot handle like cold temperature games. So I'm not saying they're like the Dolphins, but some of these times here, Herbert can actually play well at this type of weather, but some of the times he doesn't. But again, I still, but when it comes to this, I still think we might give Herbert some hell.
Gotcha. Yeah, good insight, man. So I think we're gonna move on to our predictions. Obviously, we've talked about the structure of the game. We've talked about how we got here. We've talked about the trenches, some of the matchups, some of the X factors, and maybe some of the hidden moments that flip playoff games. But now it's time to stop circling the matchup and start putting names and numbers on it. So I guess I'll start with you, Andy. I just want maybe a quick rundown of how you think the game's going to go, your prediction of the final score, and then maybe a player of the game.
As Thomas just alluded to, I could see, like as happened most of this season, us letting up a touchdown on the Chargers' first drive. I don't know. I can't say I know if we'll take the ball or not. I mean, I'm honestly kind of neutral on whether we do. In a way, I might actually like it better if we get the ball the second half, to start the second half. Anyway, so I think it could be, there's a chance that this game starts off. It's possible it starts off really quickly for both sides till the second half. Like I could see a touchdown or two from either Herbert or May. Like I can see both of these quarterbacks putting up touchdowns in the first half, and then defensive adjustments in the second, I think, could wind up being the story here. You've got Minter with the Chargers, and you've got Core with the Pats, and I think it's a matter of who makes the second half adjustments, and I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to the Patriots there, because obviously we have Mike Vrabel. I don't know what made me, I don't know what makes me hopeful there, but I think, Justin Herbert is neither the easiest nor the hardest quarterback to scheme against. He's not an Allen or a Mahomes. And I think we will be able to, like Thomas alluded to, get the better of him in the second half. I see this game actually being a defensive slugfest for the most part. Final score I see being 24-17 Pats. And Milton Williams saves it on a third down sack at the end of the game. Chargers driving. Player of the game would be Milton Williams.
Love that. Love that prediction. Thomas, how about you?
Thanks, man.
Again, it's going to be a defensive game in the first half, but second half, I think Patriots will walk away with this one. I do see it's a 17-point game for us here. I say Patriots 34, Chargers 17. And my player of the game, I'm just gonna be pull the obvious, Drake May.
Do you have a stat line for Drake May?
It's not gonna be a 300-yard game. I'm gonna say that it's gonna be like a 260-yard, 2-touchdown. I hate to do it. I say one pick. I sense there's going to be an interception on the Chargers secondary, especially when it comes to Derwin James.
Gotcha. So I kind of think it's not going to be as close as everybody's saying it is. I personally have the Patriots winning kind of handedly. I'm going to go Patriots 31. Chargers 13. I just think, I know it's bold, but I just don't think the Chargers are ready for this team. I think the Chargers are kind of coming into this game on autopilot, just being like, it's the Patriots, but it's not the old Patriots. They don't have Tom Brady.
Harbaugh did give a little shout out to me the other day. Basically said he's not easy to defend. Anyway, go
on. I think them having to travel with the 3-hour time zone difference is going to hurt. I think them being a primarily dome team and then having to come play in 30-degree weather with, 18-mile-per-hour winds is going to affect them. The Patriots have been practicing in that for the better half of the last month, basically. So, I don't know. I just don't see it being close, so I'm going to go 31-13 Pats. And my player of the game is Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's going to have 2 touchdowns with over 100 yards and maybe another receiving touchdown. I think he's going to just come into this game and be that power back we've always needed. And I think he's going to prove the haters wrong. Definitely anybody else who's still watching, before we close it out, put your predictions in the chat, maybe a player of the game. Delusional Pats fan said Kyle Williams. I would like to see Kyle Williams come off. I do think that could be the case, especially if Booty isn't ready to go for Sunday, or say he gets hurt in the game. We're definitely going to have to see more of Kyle Williams, more of Douglas, and more of Efton, and we'll probably see Diggs kind of take that lead role. So, yeah, if anybody else has any predictions or player of the game, if not, I'll just take a moment here to talk about, let's see. Right. Before we sign off, if you rode with us tonight, make sure you're locked in, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join the Patriots Clubhouse Discord so you're not watching playoff football alone. We do watch parties sometimes, and we'd love to talk football with some new fans. We'll be there during the game, after the game, and all week as this voyage continues. Links are in the description for the Discord and the QR code in the top right. Let's try and band together as Pats fans and make this run loud. But as far as that goes, there's nothing left to analyze now. The preparation is done. The matchups are set. The predictions are locked in. What's left is execution under the lights in January, with everything basically on the line. Sunday night, Gillette Stadium, one chance to keep the Voyage alive. You know, we're gonna need everyone, all the fans at home, plus all the fans going to the game. It takes all of us to support this team, and hell, I wouldn't want to support anyone else. And I'm sure you guys feel the same. So this has been the MayeFlower Voyage, presented by Patriots Clubhouse. We'll be back after the game with full post-game coverage, winners, musket men and misfires, and everything in between. Until then, keep the sails tight, the muskets dry, and let's enjoy some January playoff football. I'm Austin. That's Andy. That's Thomas. And with that,
Let's go Pats.
Have a good one, everyone.
Cheers.